AITA for going behind my mum's back to get a diagnosis. So background to this, I, 17M, have a twin sister, 17F. Our parents have always kind of had us compete with each other and are especially sticklers for academics. My sister has always done much better than me on that front. TBH, I've always found school very frustrating. It's not like I'm thick or anything, I know loads of stuff and often know the answers in class. I've just always struggled with focusing and putting my thoughts together coherently in a way teachers like. Also have a horrible memory, so exams are a nightmare. I can study and study and study something for hours sometimes and still not remember it when it comes to the test. And that's when I can study. Sometimes I honestly really want to, but I just can't. Like I'll sit there, staring at my workbook for ages and there's just some block where I can't do it. My parents just kind of ignore all this and tell me to study harder like my sister. I try some of her study methods, and some of them help, but mostly they don't work for me. I always kinda thought I was just doomed to be shit at education. The situation, I started dating a boy about a year ago whose big sister is a psychologist. A few months ago, he and I were talking about school while she was in the room and she kinda said, "Sorry to butt in, but have you ever been tested for ADHD?" I said I hadn't, because I didn't think I had it. The image I had of ADHD was always the rambunctious kid who played class clown, which is very much not me. She explained that wasn't always the case and a lot of the things I was describing sounded like ADHD symptoms. I relayed this to my parents and they both, especially my mum, got upset and said that I'm just looking for a way to not take accountability and that ADHD didn't exist in their day. I got upset, but talked to my BF's sister again, and she pointed me in the right direction to go and talk to people about it without my parents overseeing. Obviously with the Rona, it was difficult, but I managed to get the necessary appointments and finally had it confirmed that I have ADHD. Now my parents are mad. They keep on about how I'm just trying to remove responsibility and how they don't recognize the diagnosis as valid. They've also said they don't want me talking to my boyfriend anymore, saying his family are a bad influence. We're both upset about it. Was it a bad idea for me to go get the diagnosis when they told me not to? NTA. So basically, your parents are denying you any benefits and supports that you would get if you were diagnosed with ADHD. As someone whose family member has ADHD, diagnosis tests can give you a lot of benefits in school too. So your parents are denying you any help whatsoever with your schoolwork, study, etc. and telling you to copy what your sister does. Everyone learns and studies in different ways and it's important to understand that. Comparing yourself to your sister and competing with her in terms of your grades is an absurd thing to encourage as a parent and might damage your relationship in the future. You are not looking for a way to not take accountability, and that is clear to see. Understanding a condition is the first step towards living with it. ADHD did exist in her day, it just wasn't known as ADHD. I'd be very surprised if the label ADHD didn't exist in her day actually. You're almost 18, have the maturity of an adult and therefore can do this without your parents' consent. You want to get a diagnosis test, you do you. Also not wanting you to see your boyfriend because of this argument is incredibly immature. It certainly sounds like your boyfriend and his family are trying to help you. Your parents, on the other hand, are denying its existence. That says it all. Your parents are the us here. NTA, so in a nutshell your parents deny that medical conditions exist. What else do they not believe in? I really hope they read through this thread once it's been up for a few hours and realize how shitty and damaging they really are. Absolutely NTA, and good on you for seeking help so young. Since you're still a minor, you'll need a way to deal with your parents being such buttheads about your diagnosis. Maybe the person who diagnosed you can help with that. But perhaps the most useful thing right now would be to consistently tell your parents that, whether or not they believe it, you aren't looking to avoid responsibility. You want to get help so you can take better responsibility for things in ways that work for you, and point out instances in which you've succeeded. NTA. ADHD didn't exist in our day is plainly false. it is just that medical science, especially on mental health, has made such advancements that we are much better at understanding and treating hidden mental illness conditions. There still remains a taboo around mental health, and it is people like your parents who perpetuate those sorts of views. It sounds like your BF's family is actually much more supportive than your actual family. AITA for stealing ducks from small children. Disclaimer, this is a very British and polite post, not a serious issue. I live near a duck pond that has one population of ducks. When there's food they all go to the same place, they don't split and go to different people. I regularly feed these ducks, but today when I got to the pond there was a group of adults and children putting out seed already. No issue, I politely wait on the other side of the pond and take some pictures of other wildlife. Then the screams start. No one is being tragically murdered. The kids are shouting for the ducks to do something and running towards them when they do come on land. This is super not okay for me, so I threw down duck food on my side of the pond and hijacked the little beauts. Mother of the brats loudly exclaimed to father of the brats that I was a bit bloody cheeky and stole the ducks from her kids. Loud enough for me to hear but obviously not aimed at me, polite and British. No confrontation. I understand I did steal them, but I just don't like children being taught it's okay to harass animals. AITA for duck stealing. Edit, unsolicited duck pic on my profile. Extra edit, I wasn't expecting so many people to appreciate DuckTales. Thank you for the awards, and thank you comments which have made me laugh so much. For those of you saying we shouldn't feed ducks, so I'm an asshole for that, it's absolutely not frowned upon to feed ducks in the UK provided you are feeding them the right stuff. Check the RSPB website, or your country's equivalent, for a full list of duck-friendly food, and obviously respect the duck's personal space. Info, by hijacked. Do you mean you threw down seed to encourage them to waddle over to your side of the pond? The ducks have very short attention spans, so they pretty much favor the newest food. I put food down on my side and they swam over. To be honest, that kind of politeness is the most annoying part of the British culture. NTA, parents should always teach kids to be respectful to animals. I think it's worse because I guess it's not even polite, it's just awkward. Fully with you on it being annoying though, it's just quite deeply ingrained. NTA, rescuing the ducks from a group of little twits can hardly be considered assholery. NTA, you diverted the ducks away from what could have been a bad scene. AITA for asking the doctor how to increase chances of having a boy next time. Found out today at the ultrasound that my wife is pregnant with twin girls. I wasn't mad, but I was let down because we already have 2 daughters and I said, come on. It was an accident. I only meant to say it in my head, but I guess I was so frustrated it came out my mouth and I said it out loud. But it was fine because everybody laughed. I asked the doctor how I could increase the chances of having a boy next time, and he recommended something called the Shettles method, but he said it wasn't guaranteed and I thanked him. Everybody was happy and laughing. Everything was fine. Soon as we get into the car my wife turns into a whole different person and stops smiling and being happy. I can't remember her exact words, but I knew she was upset about the question I asked. I told her that I love our daughters but I just wanted a boy and that there was nothing wrong with that. She hasn't spoken to me in a few hours. I don't really see what the problem is. I don't want too many replies, please, just like 10. If you read this and you see that there's 10 comments already, please don't add another one. Thank you. Edit, okay, we passed 10, you can stop now. Thank you. Edit, you guys aren't listening. There's already more than 10. Edit, I asked the mods to lock the comments. You can't comment anymore. I'm sorry. Okay, everyone had fun. Op got 752x as many comment as he asked for. As you can imagine, the dog bile effect invites a lot of rule breaking, and at this point it feels like we've left a bear trap out for you guys. Locked. Also, expect to get way more than 10 comments because posts on this sub blow up fast. Edit, I asked the mods to lock the comments. You can't comment anymore. I'm sorry. And yet. AITA. I wasn't going to reply because it's so obvious that AITA, but then I got to the end of your post demanding a comment cap and just had to break your rules. Showing outward displeasure at the sex of your new babies is proof positive that you do not actually value your daughters. Yep. Also, to add another comment, I can't remember her exact words. I don't really see what the problem is. Maybe if you paid attention to your wife you wouldn't have this problem of too many people telling you you're TA now. Think on that one for next time. Just commenting to raise the number of comments. Edit. Wow, now I know the feeling of waking up to many upvotes and awards. Thanks to you all, even if my main goal in life was to contribute to something more sustainable, it just feels good. Smile. And I like your fun facts. Did you know the songwriter of Hit Me Baby One More Time wasn't a native English speaker and mistakenly believed that hit me was in fact American slang for call me on the phone, as in hit me up? Just thought I'd spice up the comments while raising the total number. And if op is reading, AITA.